coming up on this episode of Professional Development.
What you do see is people kind of get into it, do one, learn, put in more training for it, be excited they could have done better, make some changes. But after about 2 years, if they're not really enjoying it, you kind of see a lot of people fade out of it again because didn't realize, how tired sometimes you do feel and how fatigued and how hard it is to run with a headlamp on when days get dark at 4:30 and, those kind of times that, you don't realize the really good runners are just kind of have figured it out and worked through it, but they don't really talk about kind of that fatigued state and what it feels like.
I'm Conrad Drover. Join me as I sit down with inspiring professionals from diverse fields to gain valuable insight from their experiences and knowledge to help me grow as both an educator in the classroom and as a person in all areas of my life. This is Professional Development.
All right, so where did you get this beer again?
This is my friend Paul. He used to be a trainer at Strive, that athletic training facility on Waverly.
Yeah.
Anyways, he always was just one of those guys that kind of was a trainer and wanted to start his own business, kind of has that just like you just want to kind of create more or do a little more. And he's always wanted passion project. And he finally settled on this. And these are non-alcoholic beers. And there's he just came out with a new flavor. And it's got a little bit of nootropics in it. So it's L-theanine and I think
L-tyrosine, magnesium,
adaptogens and nootropics. So it's there's a little bit of lion's mane or something. Basically that you have a couple of these and it's to mimic what you would feel after having a couple things of alcohol. It's just I don't feel it like that, but I don't know, apparently it just calms you a little bit. And
there you go.
Yeah. I like them for golf and just a lot more people don't.
So you're not loaded by 10 a.m.
Yeah. And a lot of my friends are I go to family things and not everyone's wants to drink anymore. People are a little more conscious of it. So
man, I'm gonna crack it right now.
It's good. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because usually I can taste the Corona Zeros.
Yeah.
I can taste it. So
yeah.
Here.
This tastes I don't know, just kind of tastes like a simple pale, just blonde ale kind of thing.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Anyways, yeah, it's sweet. He just I'll just support him.
Yeah.
A palate, and it's nice to have, someone comes over and they just want to have a drink, but you don't necessarily need to booze it up. You just want to casually just sip on it, something. So yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's awesome. That's the best surprise I got all day. So Mick, why don't you just tell the rundown of who you are and maybe some of your accomplishments or what you do in terms of career and training, and also how to pronounce your full name.
Yeah.
Because I've known you for about 10 years now and I still am self-conscious about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are. Full name's Mikhail Gerylo, but everyone calls me Mick, or it's just easier. And it's a quick name to say sports-wise, so I think it just stuck growing up and everything like that. But who is Mick Gerylo? I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 12 years now, which is mind-blowing. I've passed my 10-year mark, and starting to look back on what's different now and what my kind of philosophies are and what experiences I've had. I've always been someone that's played sports and been competitive and challenged myself physically, and so I'm always trying to find that next thing that kind of excites me and challenges me, but also I really value kind of being an overall athlete and being prepared for anything to step into, whether someone wants to go play pickleball or climb a mountain. I like to feel I can do both and not be nervous to step into anything. So that's kind of always been my philosophy for training. I just didn't realize it back in the day. I've tried just running events, I've tried lifting, I still do both, but I like to do it all and be as good as I can at anything. I have an older sister, have a close family that I still see a lot, and my sister lives out west, and I use a lot of opportunities to make it out there and see friends and family out in the mountains. That's kind of my where I feel my soul the most. And that's another thing that's kind of always been with me since I got exposed to that is mountain and trail running. So that's kind of always been a way that's kept me honest with training and preparing for races. And I got into Spartan race, which is like obstacle racing. That was in 2014. So I've been doing that a long time, and
as long as you've been teaching.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't realize it, but I kind of joined when and got into it as the sport was at its peak and had the most interest and had the most media and kind of the buzz around it with competitive athletes. And things have changed a little bit, but you don't realize you're in the kind of peak of a sport or something when you're in it, and then you look back and it's not really the same anymore. So I've moved a little more into other challenges.
The funny thing is that you could tell a lot when people are bullshitting, like on like a resume or interview, and when you were just talking about, oh, I was the well-rounded athlete, I like trying other things, I like challenge myself. That was 100% my first impression when we first met.
Oh, that's like, listen, that makes me feel good. You never know what people kind of see from the outside, right? Like how much you show on, let's say, social media or just meet in person. And I would say I you know, you and I met through track and field, and I was basically, you know, exposed to track and field with your group, which was just an addition for me because I needed to learn how to run at least decently compared to some of the best runners in Manitoba. And if you go with the right groups in certain things, you know, you want to be good at multiple things. You always want to find the people that are better than you in certain aspects and cling on to them, and you can learn a lot.
When so I think I don't know if we were at Victor Major or if Victor Major was even a thing, right? That track, but I think we were outdoors at the U of M, and you joined, or you showed up to a workout, and typically our group was like the university, the college group. I think we were equivalent to like a D2 NCAA school. Like, it's not messing around. Like, we were fit, and we've always had walk-ons come in, and then like we just run them down to the ground, and then they never come back or whatever. So when you were there, we're like, oh, who's this guy? Like, oh, he's fit and stuff like that, but this is a totally different world than, you know, just gym bro stuff. And I remember like I was running with like probably like someone like Ben Patterson or maybe Matt Van Schep, and you were like hanging on to this workout, and we're like we were almost just waiting for you to drop off. We're like, oh, where is this guy? And then it was some sort of 800-meter challenge or time trial or something like that, and you ran a workout that would equate you to running like a 2-minute 800. And we were all like, holy crap. Like, this guy is the most well-rounded fit person we ever met. Cause like you could do like muscle ups, you could hold on to us running, which is all we did. And you were like an awesome, nice guy. So we're like, where did this guy come from? He's like a beast at everything.
You really have to prove yourself on the track. Like, you can't, you know, you guys are at a level and you're still competing, right? At that point. And although a lot of those guys are now alumni, even like yourself, but that group had something, like a lot of you guys continued on and are still very, very strong runners. And, you know, I might not have that like track speed for, let's say, 100 meters to 800, right? And there were points where, sure, maybe I got lucky that day, you know, when you just have a good day. But I was always a little behind you guys. I was always chasing, but that's good.
The fact that you were there enough where you could benefit from us.
Yes.
Because there is a level when you're training with a group like that, where it's like, if you just walk on and you're not ready for it, you don't have some pre-training in there.
Oh yeah.
It's useless to you because they're just too fast, right? Even now, like, I just moved back from Alberta and I was like training a bit, but I came back in August and I like buckled down and trained for that half marathon in October.
Yeah.
Um,
Ran really well, by the way.
Thank you. I was really far away from Matt and Simone and stuff like that. Whereas, luckily there's a couple intermittent guys in there. But like, if it was just like me and Simone Berube, like that's too much of a gap.
Right.
Yeah. When you jump into those training sessions, when you're at that, I guess that critical spot where you're not the fastest guy on the track, but you're just at that level where you can like work a little extra harder or make it like just a couple seconds behind where you're still in that reach.
Yeah.
That's where you benefit the most from any workout.
For sure. And that's where I'm at right now, where I'm almost, I've been at the highest level in like OCR and everything for years. But now going back into just pure running, sometimes I just wish there was like some monkey bars or a sandbag that guys had to carry for a while. But, I'm kind of in that gap zone where I'm almost always like the best of the rest. Whoever shows up, the like very legit guys that are top of the sport, they're still untouchable if they have a good day.
Right.
And that's more, I know that anything is just based on hours and talent and, your drive and everything like that. But, when you put someone that trains just purely for running and is kind of in their peak of their athletic career and I'm just trying to fit in workouts and putting in half as many miles as them, I need to remind myself like it's okay that you're not quite there, and if you have a good day, you can usually beat a lot of other people that are in your same situation, like work full time and still try and balance your life and everything. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, but it's still a huge benefit to train with people that are like at the top level and care about it.
That is such a valuable opportunity for people, is to train with people that are extremely good at what they do, right? That's like the whole point of this podcast, is talking to people that are really good at what they're doing, so I can grab like maybe a taste or a sample of that and sort of help guide students to the mindsets or the steps that they have to take to be whoever they want to be. Yeah. And this gives like a good sample size for that. And I don't even know if it's dedicated to students to say, because I don't think any of my students have the attention span to watch this, but fellow teachers, right? They can take this and they can implement this in the classroom.
Even being around like teachers that you can tell, put in a little extra work and care about it, they almost elevate you to want to be better too. And if you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are cutting corners and whatever else, and you kind of fall to the standard no matter what your discipline is a little bit. You look at like certain studies where they looked at open office concept, and they put like high achievers around certain people, and their workload increased by quite a bit. Like, let's say, it was under 20%, but it increased by over 10%. And then if you put them around negative people and lazier people, their productivity dropped by like over 20%.
So I have seen that stat before. Yeah. And like I pick apart it. Yeah. And like I think it's like it's true.
Yeah.
But the funny thing I do is I laugh at that, because I'm like, okay, so if you're sitting by a high achiever, is that person losing because of you?
Yeah.
Or are you gaining because of this?
Yeah.
But no, I get the whole. I get
reach that tipping point of like enough people in either category. Yeah.
So like when you're teaching, do you think you're that high achiever around your students that is sort of pulling them up?
I think, like lifestyle wise, I hope that, part of it is just they have to respect you for it, right? Like if I'm trying to teach healthy lifestyle things, nutrition, goal setting, fitness, any of that stuff related to physical education, like I don't think they would listen to anything I'm saying unless I kind of show that I understand it, and the best way to show you understand it is living it, right? So it's like asking a broke banker for financial advice. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like a huge thing for me is making. I didn't really, I care about it not just for my students, but that's definitely like a bonus for me.
Yeah.
That helps me teach them and motivate them and stuff like that. And then you see the ones that take the opportunity, because you can teach anything, but there's information out there. Everyone knows how to eat like decently healthy. If we all got $1 million to eat like healthy for a week, I'm sure we all could do it, right? So it's less on information now for me for teaching phys ed. Obviously I want to get them active and social, but when I'm teaching theory, it's more now trying to get them to value, putting something into place and putting action to information. And if they change like 1 or 2 lifestyle things about whatever I'm teaching, that could be huge in the long run, especially for a high school student, right? To start that now, it compounds. You stick to anything for 5 years, you're going to see huge results.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've noticed that in many ways, right? Now that I've been teaching for over 5 years and working on like running for over 5 years, and certain things I find that once you get to that 5-year mark, it's like you understand that so much more, and then you start seeing the compounding momentum of your time you put into it. So
yeah. And like transitioning that mindset or transferring that mindset to high schoolers, middle schoolers a little young, but let's say high school, I always find it's easier said and done than done, because 5 years in our lifespan, like we're like mid early 30s, right? Like, so 5 years is a smaller piece of the pie of our life. So when we say, okay, we got a 5-year commitment, we're going to do this, we're going to, and like we can scrunch it down to 2 years or a year or like a month or whatever. But that is such a long time. Like that's more than all of high school for them, right? So when I always find a struggle when I'm working with students about how to teach them about fitness and lifestyle is that they're living on house money right now, right? It's like they have a metabolism of like a god. They can eat anything and it just like melts off them. And so they don't see the value in it yet. But you like, you always say like, hey man, like when you're 20, man, things are just going to shut down. When instead of growing vertically, you're going to start growing horizontally.
Right.
There's sometimes where you're like teaching by fear, like, hey, this is what we got to do to avoid this, or this is what you got to do to get to this, right? The carrot or the stick. I always find it when I'm teaching young high school, it's very difficult for me to teach by the fear because they just don't see it, right? They have testosterone gaining in their body every single day, right? Their recovery time is amazing, right? So when you're talking to them about like the stuff that's important to us now, like, watching our weight, eating healthy, training consistent, it's as automatic for them, right? So my question would be like from a phys ed teacher to phys ed teacher, instead of like what you said about, like you're teaching them the theory, how do you get them to develop these good habits now when at this point in time, it doesn't really affect their day-to-day life, but it will in the future?
Yeah. And it affecting it isn't compounding in a negative way, right? Or they might get little positives from it, but they won't see it as much as they would.
But they won't value it as much as like we would.
So I try to make them conscious of it as they're doing it, because at least you're getting like that sense of accomplishment or showing up for yourself or doing something good for yourself, because a lot of students don't have that many examples in their day that they actually showed up well for themselves necessarily. Like they took the easy way out, they complained about this, or they didn't have the right mindset. So, and it's finding the students that are ready for it. Some of them actually do want to kind of work hard and get better, and so those ones you keep giving them more and you keep giving them feedback that they are doing the right thing, even though they may not be noticing where it could be going negatively. You just really help them out. And then like I said, any of the theory, I try to give more experience based and then reflection instead of like a test, checking their knowledge and everything. So let's say nutrition, instead of just talking about, benefits of certain things or whatever else, like this year I did like a nutrition month where every day was just a single small task, nutrition related or good habit related based on nutrition. And so they had to wake up, look at their task for the day, and their task may be just like eat with your opposite hand, like use your opposite hand. And at least that would make you a little more conscious of,
Right. Yeah. You're thinking
and that's it. That's a simple thing that they're like, well, I can do this. I'm already eating. I looked at it at the start, you have to kind of get them out of their routines or just kind of different things. And if, they do 10 of them, like legitimately, and then change a few of those habits, like that'll make a bigger impact than kind of quizzing them on the food guide and like counting calories or whatever else. So
the KISS protocol, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then I ask them, like, whenever I do that, in reflection, I always kind of check in and say, this isn't worth marks, like on how many you like, let's say did, but I want to hear like which ones you will continue to do, how many you legitimately were excited to do, which one was the most difficult that you see the value in, but you don't know if you could consciously like stick to it, or just kind of gain a bit of their feedback and make them think about it. But I'm changing. I think over the last like 5 years, I've kind of changed how I can make it a little more valuable, but also just kind of like meet them where they're at. They're still in high school, their frontal lobe's not fully developed or anything. So they're
no foresight.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to just force them to try it and not give them the same type of like philosophy as you would use now. Yeah.
Like I think what you do well is like you normalize being fit.
I try to.
You normalize a fitness lifestyle. I know when I was growing up, I guess like the opposite, like smoking was normalized.
Right.
Like it was a thing where it's like once you turn 16, you're allowed to smoke in my house.
Yeah.
Like that was like of it, right?
Yeah. And it's so weird now to think like you could be on airplanes and I don't know, like we used to go to a restaurant and they'd be smoking, non-smoking, and it would literally just be a table in between. But we're
bars and stuff like that.
Yeah. It'd be
so it was normalized, and so when people, and like I think we've done a lot as a society to change smoking, but in terms of fitness, like you would do it if the students knew about it or not.
For sure.
And that's the thing that I think I try to do as well. I'll like nonchalantly, like casually drop that I ran 12K in the morning or something like that, right? But it's not like a braggadocious thing. It's just I want them to normalize it. I understand that that's just my routine.
Yeah.
And like you don't have to be an Olympian to do it, right? So they know on the weekends that like, oh, what's Mr.Drover doing? He's training. Like Monday morning, like, oh, Mr.Drover, how long you run on Sunday? It's like, 18 miles, right? Like something like that.
And you make them do like a mile run or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And then at least they have a little perspective over what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Or exactly.
Yeah, because it's just numbers to them, right? Like, you don't want to talk about paces, but when they see you like doing all these athletic feats like Spartan races, which I want to get into, and your trail running and your mountain running, like that's just another day for you. And you do it, you live the lifestyle so that they know you're not messing around. Like they know you're not just saying this stuff because like it's your job to say it.
Yeah. I'm pretty quick to like explain to them, you know, like because for some of them it's just how much they can lift or whatever, and it's all about like what goals they have for themselves. I'm excited if they have a goal for themselves physically, and hopefully I can help them get there. But I also remind them like this is not going to win me races. So this is not something that I'm fully trying to improve at, like let's say strength wise or something like that, right? Because to them, it doesn't really, I'm walking around and no one can see like how strong my heart and my lungs are and how adapted my body is to like buffering lactic acid and stuff. It's not like a physical aesthetic that you walk around. If anything, it almost, to cultural standards.
Yeah, you're a little skinny.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't necessarily, it's not part of their goal right now, but obviously they still see that you put time into it. And even when I just ran, I never wanted to just be a runner. I kind of realized that after my first half marathon, I still wanted to lift weights and everything. So that's why I got into a little bit more dynamic, type of racing.
That's always the devil and angel on my shoulder, man. Like, a couple of years ago when I was living in Fort McMurray, I just took time off running.
Yeah.
And I took, actually, this is a funny story, but I took, I think it was somewhere in the pandemic, it lasted forever. I took like 6 months off exercise, like exercise.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was like going through like a depression thing or whatever. And then I developed a video game.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did, right?
I feel like I saw that.
Yeah, it's like Atrium Invasion. It was like a mobile app game. And then I went to run again in like May or June. I was like, fuck it, I'll beat that out. But like, I can swear, it's my own podcast, I think.
Now you put it explicit on it. Now it's like, get more views.
Yeah, there you go. And then I ran for 15 minutes at like 7-minute miles, 7:30, whatever my muscles remembered to do.
Yeah.
And I was gasping.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been telling people to do this. Like, I feel like a dick.
Like when you're not used to it.
Yeah, like I haven't been that detrained since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. Like, and like I was so casually going up to people, just run easy for half an hour.
Right.
Like that is not a thing for most people.
No, and it doesn't feel natural.
No.
Our bodies kind of realize what we're getting into if we just go back into an easy run,
Yeah.
It's easy for us to get that exposure. Now, explaining to people that if you just do it consistently for 2 weeks, the amount of adaptation and just more like comfort with it you will get.
Yeah.
It's almost, one of those systems that improves the quickest, you'll
get a big shot, right?
So you always encourage people to get past that.
Yeah.
I always tell them, I'm like, your mind is like your body, right? Like if I am so bad at public speaking and you threw me in front of 1,000 people, it would feel like that first run. It would feel so bad. I'd be like maybe obviously more nervous than going out for a run, but you get that discomfort and it feels like I'm never going to be good at this. And then if you did it 10 times and there was no, let's say people watching or looking at your performance and kind of whatever, eventually you start to adapt and get better at use. Your body gets used to it, like your mind gets used to it. And
well, like I think it really like made me empathize with like it made me a better coach. Right now I'm coaching Prairie Performance Triathlon.
Okay.
So I'm coaching their running, and we have age ranges from like 30 to 60.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I'm programming for them, I'm always thinking back to that time when I was really out of shape, because I don't think I had that empathy as like a competitive runner for like the everyday guy until I got out of shape. Because like our professions in general, we're teachers, right? We when we're trying to learn something like public speaking or coaching, or we're trying to develop ourselves, we pull from our own toolbox, right? We go, okay, how can I scaffold this for myself to get a little bit better?
Yeah.
How can I get this a little bit better? And I think, I don't know, I'm using what I do in teaching for athletics, but I also think that it's my athletics dictating how I teach.
For sure. Sticking to anything and working through something physically is going to improve, every aspect of your life. Hopefully, right? Unless it becomes that becomes your only thing. But, it's taught me a lot, and I can relate it to like everything in my life, right? Like just kind of sticking with something or keeping it the challenge going to get better, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden your standard changes, right? Now you going out for an easy run is like someone else's, standard, right? goal,
like race, yeah,
goal
5K,
5K
yeah.
pace, right? Like there are different levels to it. And, you know, as soon as you feel like you're at a level 2, like your standard, then you find the next pond of fish or the next kind of level where you're like, oh, I'm now at this level and I could still get better or whatever else, even though your standard may be someone else's like dream.
Yeah,
right?
I think fitness training in general, like running or lifting, I think it teaches you a lot about scale, a lot about variables, and like a lot about focus. So from running, I understand scale. Like I know, okay, um, I'm trying to hit this range of like an adaptation, and I know that this is my pace. I know my buddy's pace is this pace. We're trying to hit it. But like the activity itself is scalable so that anyone can hit the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Or variables, right? I was about to say when I was in Fort Mac, one other time I took time off running, I just wanted to just see how buff I could get. Like I literally just lifted, like bro lifted, like.
See, that's the thing. Like you guys coming from track,
Yeah.
you know, I'd be kind of chatting with you guys when we'd be doing workouts or cool downs and stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, guys would mention, oh yeah, I took my time off or whatever. And it was like 4 days or a week. It was
5 days, no running, 5 days easy running.
Mentally, like going and traveling to races and whatever, I would always take kind of this time of year, you know, January, February to almost like mentally take a break from hard training and kind of take break from running. And it's so nice getting in the gym and not being, you know, fatigued, nervous system wise or just recovery wise, because you're, you know, running workouts take a lot out of you, especially when you're like pushing that volume or whatever else. And to keep up strength, you know, it's nice to dial back on the running so you can build up again. But that's kind of what I'm as I'm in right now, which is nice. I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's when the difference between so last year, I had to do all my running workouts in the morning. So I get to the school and I do the workout on the treadmill there. And after you do like 12 miles worth of half marathon training on the treadmill at 6 a.m., you're like a skinny zombie. Like that's how you feel, right? But then when I took that period in Fort Mac, it was like 5 months. I like just 4-day set, chest, arms, abs, whatever.
Yeah.
You work out, and instead of leaving the gym feeling like a zombie and dead, you feel like on top of the world.
Yeah.
You're buffer than you've ever been. You're just pumped. You're walking around the school being like, I'm the best teacher ever, sort of thing like that.
Yeah, you have more capacity. You're not in like a fatigue state all the time, and it almost like energizes you, like you said. So I've had those moments, like, you know, you don't really realize it when you're in your competitive state. And I don't think a lot of endurance athletes, you know, open up about kind of how you feel sometimes in like a training block.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's why you see kind of running taking off, right? Run clubs, everyone trying to get into signing up for a half marathon, whatever, because they see it on social media. And it's great. It's nice to like sign up and you see the value of seeing like signing up for an actual race because you have more purpose in your training. I always tell people, like, if you're having trouble going for runs and stuff, like sign up for a 5K in like 3 months and watch yourself be able to, you know, show up a bit more for yourself and run and
you got that monetary commitment.
Exactly. Exactly. But what you do see is people kind of get into it, do one, learn, put in more training for it, you know, be excited they could have done better, make some changes. But after about 2 years, if they're not really enjoying it, you know, you kind of see a lot of people fade out of it again because they maybe didn't realize, you know, how tired sometimes you do feel and how fatigued and how hard it is to run with a headlamp on when days get dark at 4:30 and, you know, those kind of times that, you know, you don't realize the really good runners are just kind of have figured it out and worked through it, but they don't really talk about kind of that fatigued state and what it feels like. And
well, like especially in our profession. So like when I was training for the WFPS, like I told Olivia, I was like, I'm in it. Like this is like, I'm not no half measures. This is my training plan, 60 miles a week, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like 5:25 in the morning. I'd have to get up and like spend half an hour trying to wake up, and then out the door 5 to 6, and then run 8 miles and then go to work. And then like we have our double threshold days now, which is just ridiculous. So we do like 4 by a mile in the morning and then 20 by 400 in the afternoon. And on top of that, I got to work, right? So, and that brings me to my other discussion point that I want to talk about a lot, because teachers have this, I guess, expectation in society to give absolutely everything they have to their job, right? And I guess maybe it's the same for every job, I'm thinking, right? But I feel like just being in it, that teachers are expected to put 100% in their job. And I find when you're training, like you're exhausted, so your mood is altered. And when you're like, your mood is what makes you an ethical teacher, right? My dad can work in a coal mine or in a factory or a pulp mill and just be pissed off all day and get his work done. That literally affects how I do my job if I'm cranky or irritable or whatever. How do you manage being, I don't know, like a good enough teacher?
Yes. Yeah.
But also, you know, living the lifestyle that, you know, is almost synergetic to teaching, because that's what makes you a genuine and, you know, a person that people know that's not bullshitting. Like you like, kids look up to you because you do what you do. But if you didn't put the time in what you did, then you wouldn't be as genuine. How do you balance the two? And when is it good enough for either or? Like that?
Yeah. I think it's a good question. It's kind of changed as I've gotten older, right? I think I look back at how I used to train while I was teaching, and I don't even know how I kind of stuck to it, but maybe it was just because I was younger, and you know, the first couple of years of teaching, I was still at home, so I had meals cooked for me. I didn't have to waste kind of my bandwidth on kind of a ton of things around like lifestyle living on your own. But I think now I value, you know, listening to my body a lot more, right? If I feel or I anticipate it, right? I've kind of changed my training around that. I know, you know, Tuesdays, you know, same thing, Tuesday track day, right? You could do quality work, and then sometimes you wake up the next day and you feel like I'm still in recovery mode here. And that's when I know like Wednesday's an easier day. Wednesday could be a potentially better day to kind of take that extra sleep if I need, or something like that, like valuing like a quick 20-minute nap or something. I do find that high school is a little easier. I did teach K to 8 before.
Middle school is done.
That was, you know, there were for sure days where I tipped over, and I try to be a very, you know, a person that's able to like regulate their emotions and not let external factors kind of set them off and lose control. And I really do value that as like someone personally as a goal. And but you know, we've all had those times where we're back at our day. I'm like, I probably didn't need to get mad at that. I could have addressed that student differently, even though, you know, we're all acting out of, you know, different factors and certain things. But I think it's now that I'm older, it's valuing rest days, sleep, not being, you know, if I can feel my body is just not giving me, instead of just grinding through a workout, you know, maybe changing it up. And so like physically, maybe I'm not going to be, it's not going to get me to win every race I show up in now, or, you know, be the best of the best. But I feel like I'm a better version of myself in all aspects, like relationships and my like education and then also training. I'm still doing well, you know, all things considered, but I may not be at the apex. But you know, a lot of athletes kind of, I've been there. I've experienced it. And, you know, as you get older, you realize, you know, nothing changes if you win a race or you don't. It doesn't change how people necessarily treat you or whatever. You show up at work the next day, some of them don't even know you.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So,
Doesn't everyone know that I have the highest VO2 max in this?
Yeah. So, I think that's, you know, you just get more mature over kind of how you plan things, and the more you've been training, the more you know how to kind of adjust and realize that that one missed workout isn't going to be the deciding factor of you in 2 months, you know, not doing well. You just kind of have to build the momentum, and then when you're feeling good, like, use it, and when you're not, you know, adjust and
in fact, that one,
and then just drink a lot of coffee. That's
probably, there you go. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like that one workout, missing it, like it's almost more cases than not, in my experience, when I'm like on that cusp of like being dead tired, and then I drag myself up to that workout, it does affect the next 2 months, because that's the workout I get injured in.
Yes.
That's the workout I screw things over, or I push, because it said on paper that I had to do this, and it was at this pace, and this is part of my thing, and like I wasn't planning around my work schedule, man. Like,
and as teachers, like, I also know that, you know, we have our summers open, and I have more bandwidth to put into teaching, and like less just when I talk about stress too, it may not be actual stressful situations at work, but you know, you're constantly dealing with other people needing things, or you're just kind of, so your capacity does translate to your workout later that evening. And mentally, like, I feel more fresh in the summer to lean into workouts and think about that, because I have less to think about in my day. And so I know to plan my season around that as well. Like, I used to race a lot more, and try to get into racing early in the season because they'd just be excited. And now I'm planning, and it's almost like I care more to just have a few to focus on, and little local races that will keep me, you know, training, like my training standard high, but not trying to just race for 5 months of the year, you know?
Yeah, that's tough.
So it's just, it's all just, you just learn and reflect on it. It's almost like once you get out of it, just like you got out of running for a little while, or you get an injury, and then when you come back, you look back and you're like, yeah, I did get injured because my sleep was a little affected. I had a little more stress just from external factors. And then I did that one hard workout on a high volume week, and all of a sudden I got this. And so, or it's an injury where you're just unlucky, but you know, a lot of runners, just things develop over time. So,
and like, I think you have a great transition into like professional life, because you're so well-rounded. When coming out of track, we were so dedicated and focused on like very specific events, and we always had a very tangible number that defined who we were. We're a 155 guy, we're a 354 guy, we're a 113 guy, like stuff like that.
I'm not any of those guys, by the way, not even close.
But like, when you're transitioning, and like what you said about, you know, maybe I'm not going to be personal best, or I'm not going to hit the best time I ever ran or win, right? But I'm going to get good. I'm going to get second. I'm going to like run a good race. I found when I was initially starting teaching, that was the worst compromise I could give for myself. Because like, I always thought, I was like, oh, why am I doing this if I'm not doing it like 100%? And what I've learned now is like, I always go like, it's the juice worth the squeeze. Like, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's fine to be 95% at running.
Yeah.
So that you can use that other 5% to keep you afloat in like the other stuff you're trying to pursue. Right?
Totally. There's a lot of, you know, people that at the highest level, you have to do it, and you don't realize how much discipline and how much sacrifice you need to do to get to that like 1% level, right? And but you can go pretty, you know, pretty high with just some smart training and dedicating time, but not being like that's your main focus. And then what happens, you get injured or something and you have nothing else going for you, and that's when your life falls apart because you don't have anything. You're like so defined about your training that you kind of neglected everything else in your life. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and I get that, because like if your identity is locked in on one thing, as soon as that's gone, who are you, right?
Yeah.
And this is sort of my diversification of my identity, right?
Yeah,
is
I
the
love
tech
it. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So like we talked a lot about how, okay, in the profession of teaching and being a competitive athlete, there are sacrifices you have to make that lifestyle work, right? You have to be a little more flexible with your training. You have to prioritize recovery a bit more, right? Is there anything in teaching that you have like strict boundaries with?
I've kind of had to get over, and at the start you try to make people understand, but that's not what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Like if you just are, you can always respect someone that's just, oh, this is what I do and whatever. So like, let's say you have a PD day or something and everyone's going out for lunch or something, and you're like, this is my window to fit in a lift.
Yeah.
Might stay and do that, and people kind of respect it, and you just kind of have to be okay with that missing out
Right.
piece. And I also think like you said, just you want to have an impact and you want to give quality instruction and you want to be prepared enough that you can teach well. I find if I'm prepared enough, then I can worry about how I actually present the knowledge or teach and have more energy to it, because I have the things that I need organized. But there's a lot of from 20 years ago, teachers are expected to do so much more. You just keep adding more and more to your plate. And so it's finding those things that aren't as important to me. I don't see the value in terms of like student success to put in the amount of, let's say, busy work and stuff like that. So I think you can't get away with it as an early teacher. You have to figure it all out and put in the work and put in some long hours of planning and stuff like that. But now let's say for report cards, I used to sit and go back through, what's this sentence really meaning about this student or this student. And then you realize 80% of them aren't even reading it. Like, what type of feedback can I actually give them, and what's making the biggest impact, and also just be organized enough that you don't have to continuously like recreate the wheel all the time.
Yeah,
so
you shouldn't have, right? Like teaching is more performative than anything.
For sure.
Like I find like there is like the type A teachers, which I'm definitely not a type A. I don't know about you, but I'm not a type A teacher. So I'll organize my stuff and have like, it doesn't even look like a lot of planning, but you just have enough. And then like the actual act of presenting it and getting your kids active in it.
Yeah.
That is what makes a good teacher. It's not like, oh, I designed this amazing worksheet or I did all of this, right? Yeah, like I've had some of my best lessons. It's like I borrowed a PowerPoint from one of my buddies.
Yeah.
And instead of going through it with them, I took away the tables and I made them sit in a circle, like with the groups.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, guys, teach this PowerPoint to each other. You guys all get like X amount of slides, read through it. It's how you present the knowledge, right? Like,
that's what I like about
the carving cycle hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah. And I just try and think of, when I look back at high school or early years or whatever else, like which teachers did I really value and everything? It was more on how that teacher made me feel and got me excited than like what they were actually teaching. And so it's just trying to build like a good atmosphere. And especially now, students need more of that is more valuable, especially with physical education and just being social and confident and being willing to like fail or look bad at something or something. So it's almost just like trying to build an atmosphere and then build off of that.
Thanks for tuning in to part one of my conversation with Mick Gerylo.
He was amazing to have on. Next week, we're gonna finish the conversation as we talk about his feats outside of the classroom, including Spartan racing, and how he became one of the best Spartan athletes in all of Canada, winning multiple series throughout Canada and competing at the highest level in North America. He is truly an amazing example of someone that balances very professional teaching with very authentic relationships with students and holds this lifestyle of an extremely athletic person. Whether you're a teacher or an athlete or neither, there's a lot to take away from this next part of the conversation. So tune in next time. I'll see you guys then.